I have a ghost story. It's the realest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I collect Native American artifacts. And so my buddy and I, we went one afternoon. We find some stuff. I go home, don't think anything about it. I lived in a cabin in the middle of the woods. Went to bed sober. I woke up, my kitchen window had been unlatched and pushed open.
Dude, what?
My wife had bought this mirror. And so she and I hung this mirror. We looked at it really good and we were like, okay, good, go to bed. The next day, the mirror's got a giant scratch across the freaking mirror.
What?
So there was 1 week that I woke up every single night at 2:59 on the freaking dot. The last night I woke up, borderline having a panic attack. My heart was racing. I was sweating. And I turned my lamp on and I put my feet on the side of the bed and I stand up. When I stood up, something jumped from that balcony to the floor and it ran through my house to the point where I grabbed my gun, dude, and I freaking racked that thing and I freaking vetted my entire house because it was so real that I was convinced that somebody was in my house. And dude, there was nothing.
So scared, right?
Dude, there was literally
That is the scariest image.
This is how specific it was. I heard the wood crack from the hands, the pressure, and then a second of pause, and then the thud shook my windows.
Like a human size.
1,000%. So we didn't tell anybody about this. And my buddy finally told him. He was like, man, one night I woke up and my dog was barking. She never barks. And he was like, I woke up and I heard a thud downstairs. He said something had opened his freaking Arrowhead case where his, like, the stuff that he found that day was in his Arrowhead case.
What?
I swear on my life.
Do you see what I see? This is right now, Christmas weekend, military aircraft over the United States. I've tried to make this video 3 times and it keeps freezing me up in the app. It's never done that before. Last night, Vice President Harris and Uncle Joe decided to cancel Christmas trips and stayed in Washington, D.C. I don't give in to many theories, but this has my interest piqued. As a licensed student pilot, you understand that aircraft tell a story. This is a sub hunter on the East Coast right now. This is a refueler. Another refueler right now over the East Coast. Another sub hunter above New York. Another sub on the East Coast in North Carolina. Christmas weekend, President and Vice President cancel trips, stay in Washington, and this is the most sub hunters I've ever seen up in one day.
What's going on?
What do they know that they're not telling us? There is no such thing as coincidence. Obviously, this is not to put fear out there. This is just saying, hey, something's up, and it's a lot of aircraft that are up right now.
Secrets we are forbidden to share with patients. The last one will shock you. Doing a 48-hour fast with only cabbage soup will completely reset your metabolism. Water with chia seeds is like nature's Botox. This alone could put most plastic surgeons out of business. Greek yogurt with blueberries will clear out all the toxic poop in your body. This mix creates a natural laxative, flattening your stomach overnight. Supplementing iron increases your energy levels by 65%. I'll leave my personal favorite linked on my profile.
3 signs that you've just met a psychopath. So there are 3 clear signs when you meet a psychopath that are typically present in the interaction, in that first interaction. So the first sign is that there is excessive flattery. This individual will typically make you feel like the best you've ever felt. The things they will say to you are the best things you've ever heard. The second sign that you've met a psychopath is that they typically will make you feel like you have a special connection. They are really good at eliciting this we're special feeling, like we belong together, or there's something here between us that's different than other people. The third thing that typically you'll see in an interaction with a psychopath, especially those early interactions, is that they'll often ask you questions that are too personal and are typically considered inappropriate for a first meeting. So they dive right in and they ask you something really personal. And sometimes people think that this is done because they're truly interested or because of that special connection. But this is actually done because they're trying to suss out your vulnerabilities and weaknesses to see how they can manipulate you in the future. Because typically the psychopath will view the world through this like chess game of power. And this is really the only way they know how to function. And so this is the reason for those overly personal questions. It's not that they're actually super interested in you. They kind of just want to know how you tick. And so if you've had these 3 check boxes checked, the making you feel like the most special, amazing person in the world, the asking the inappropriate questions, and this kind of like special like rapport that you have, this special connection all of a sudden. This might be signs that you've interacted with a psychopath. Obviously, we can't say for sure, but they're red flags, so proceed with caution.
Sometimes girls' nights will ruin your relationship.
Honestly, a girls' night out is literally just never a girls' night out.
It's never. Unfortunately, as much as we say it's a girls' night out, it's gonna end up in some deep shit.
Chaos.
Don't let your girls go out.
Tell me your craziest story about intuition and how it ended up being true. I want to be freaked out. I want to hear these stories and be like, what?
Okay, but you asked for it. We're gonna go back 14 years ago. I had invited my friend over who was supposedly pregnant, just like I was. We were both 18 and I don't know, just everything seemed like normal. The whole reason that she had came to my house was because she wanted to give me baby shower gifts and she wasn't able to make it to my baby shower. What's the harm, right? Well, as the night goes on, everybody leaves my house and it's just me and her. At this point, I start to get all these weird feelings. Honestly, feelings that I can't even explain. She had this gift for me that she stated needed to be shown to me in the dark because it was some type of light that shined on the ceiling for my son. She told me to stand in the middle of my room, turn around and close my eyes as she tried to dig through this bag looking for the present. As that started to happen, I started to have these weird thoughts. It wasn't even just weird thoughts. It was almost like somebody was whispering, telling me what was going to happen before it even happened. So these thoughts or this voice that I was hearing was telling me like, Angelique, you're about to be stabbed. You're about to get hurt. Like, it just kept going over and over and over again. And at this point, I've never had this feeling before. I'm also a teenager. I don't understand what's even happening at this point. As much as I tried to ignore the feeling, I just couldn't. She told me to turn around, sit on my bed, and she got up behind me, put her hand on my shoulder, started to count to 3. She started saying 1, 2, and right when she started to say 3, it was like something told me, stand up. So I got up as fast as I could, ran, and turned the light on. There's a lot of in between, but long story short, she had 2 large butcher knives, a pair of scissors, disinfectant, and had one of everything to take my baby from my stomach. She was going to kill me, perform a C-section on my body to take my unborn child. She then set my house on fire to burn my body with all the evidence. And me and my son are literally alive and here today because of my intuition. If you're ever wondering if you should listen to it, I'm gonna say yeah.
It's hard to even accept that evil like this can exist. At around 10:30 p.m., an officer arrived at Danvers High School and they were tasked with reviewing the school's security footage. Here's what they saw. At approximately 2:54 p.m., Colleen can be seen exiting her classroom, waving at someone, and then walking towards the second floor women's bathroom. And just as she exits the frame, Philip Chisholm can also be seen exiting the classroom and looking both ways down the hall. Colleen then enters the bathroom, and around this time, Philip takes one step back into the room, puts his hood on, and then proceeds down the hall in the same direction of the second floor women's bathroom. And as he enters the frame of the camera just outside the bathroom, you can see him putting on a pair of gloves. And this is very chilling and disturbing, but 11 minutes later, another student, a girl, is actually seen entering the same bathroom, but luckily within a second, she had turned around and left. And when she was interviewed later on, she said that she thought she had walked in on someone getting dressed, so she immediately shut the door. So then less than 2 minutes later, Philip can be seen leaving the bathroom and walking down the halls, then leaving the building. He returns shortly after, and this time he's wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, and he has no hood over his head. And then he runs down the halls back to Colleen's classroom, where he grabs both his and her belongings, along with a black ski mask, which he puts on, and a red hooded sweatshirt, which he appears to drape over the ski mask. Then around 3:15, Philip can be seen wearing that same red sweatshirt with no ski mask on, but now he is wheeling a greenish black recycling bin down the hall. He then enters the women's bathroom on the second floor, the same bathroom that Colleen was never seen leaving, and 5 minutes later he leaves the bathroom with the ski mask on, wheeling the recycling bin out. Philip then wheels that recycling bin out of the building and through the parking lot. And then about 25 minutes later, he is seen back in the parking lot without the recycling bin, and he proceeds to run back into the building without shoes on, where his jeans were very, very clearly soaked in blood. And then after this, he goes into a different bathroom, changes his clothes once again, and makes one final trip to the second floor women's bathroom where he stays for a minute before just leaving the building.